absolute therapy. Steve Azar, Delta Flatlands. I think that's an appropriate song. Good morning, Steve. How are you, sir?
I think that's your theme song, Paul. You're going back to your childhood.
I think so. I mean, you get up on the levee and you just drive. There's time suspends itself. It's kind of like the Natchez Trace in a way.
You're dang right. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can be going like 15, 20 miles before you realize that you need to turn around and go back home. So, all right, my man. Look, big event coming up, the Delta Soul event. Tell me about it and what's going to happen.
We got a lot of folks coming, 13th annual, and I extremely appreciate the support of you guys always. My team at SuperTalk. I tell you, we've got a lot of good folks coming in, and we're raising money for the Arts for Kids. They've taken the arts out of schools, and our goal down here is to put them back in. The arts are part of Mississippi's fabric, just like farmland. If you take them both away, we basically got nothing. So we have got to fight for that and fend for that. And I think we're doing a pretty good job down here, benefiting a lot of wonderful beneficiaries. We don't have programs, Paul, but, the foundation supports all the programs that do. And they've been some really great ones. So we've been blessed to have folks coming from 25 states between sponsors and celebrities, and it's just how they engage down here in the Delta and how much they love it. Reggie Smith got in late last night, 6-hour late flight, 7-hour flight, and then his hotel rooms were missing. So we were asleep already. So we wake up to all sorts of stuff, like no reservation. So anyway, it's one thing after the other, but we certainly are blessed that we get to have folks like Reggie and Mark Rippon and Jim McMahon and Bradford Marsalis and Gary Valentine. The list goes on and on. They all come here every year to celebrate what we're doing. So it's pretty dang cool.
All right, now, if you want to be a part of this, give us the itinerary, the location, and everything else.
Well, we're sold out, which is a good thing. So you can try next year, which is a really good thing. We won't need new people for sure, new folks. But it's a 3-day event, which is turning into a 5-day event. Like folks like Reggie coming in early, and we've got about 20 celebrities coming in tonight. So we have a dinner for them. But it's just a lot going on. Golf's sort of a side note, and when it rains, nobody gets upset. Everybody's together, and these relationships have blossomed. So it's 3 days. You can go to the Steve Azar Saints Cecilia Foundation, and you can check out the itinerary of the Delta Soul, is what this is called, and you can kind of see what's going on. I would ruin your airtime and airwaves, and people would turn it off if I start going into too much detail.
So this is not a PGA event, as you all know, because nobody even talks about the winter. You just have a lot of good time, eat a lot of good food, and a lot of good music.
We do have some PGA players, though. We have Chris Cheddar, LPGA former star, and we've got Robert Gomez. There's more. There's a handful of pros that come in, depending on what the year is. But we let them do their thing, and the rest of us do what we do. So. But they're even having fun, and they're very helpful. Sterling Sharp comes. He's coming back this year. It's been a few years because he's been playing in the BMW. He said, I need to come back to Mississippi and have some catfish. And I said, well, you better. So he comes back, and he's a great player. He's a +2 or 3 handicap. So he's a legitimate man out there, just like he was on the football field.
Steve, I don't want to pass over what you talked about when we first came on. That's where this money goes. Because when we were in school, in our own Delta school in Greenville, playing St. Joe, and we were in Shaw, and certainly in the elementary. I remember in elementary school, we had the arts. I mean, we studied classical music. People hear that today, but we had in elementary school and in middle school classical music, and as much as you don't think you did, you do take some stuff from that as far as your love of different types of music, the appreciation of it, etc.
Yeah. It's interesting why that was chosen to be removed in so many places around the country. But in Mississippi, it should be outlawed. It's removed because we are the birthplace of it all. I said, it's our DNA. It's who we are. And when you take a deep dive into our history, it's the most insane success story that you could ever have. All roads of music lead to us. I mean, and who knows why? The good Lord gave us that. You know, we don't have a bunch of Starbucks down here. We don't have any Starbucks. Well, maybe there's one at Delta State. I don't know. I don't care. I'd rather have my own coffee, and I'd rather have the arts. So, and I like Starbucks, by the way. I'm not putting them down. I do like it. But with that said, you know, we got certain things that we need to tend to. And you think about this. I told Dave the other day, if Kingfish doesn't walk into the Delta Blues Museum in Clarksdale when he's a little kid for a camp, and he doesn't walk in there, and he's not on the cover of Guitar Magazine probably. And that's a good example of programs that are there for kids to allow them to see what's going on with inside them. Look, not everybody can hit the 90-mile-an-hour fastball. You know, not everybody can, you know, drop back and throw it 60 yards. And not everybody can hit 8 3-pointers in a game. I mean, there's just so many things, or swing it from the hip, the girls' fastball, fast pitch. Each one of those athletes need the arts. It helps you round yourself off. And, you know, kids will search it out. But, man, it sure helps if it's there waiting for them or there knocking on your door rather than them trying to figure out or stumble across it.
Think about this. With Harrell, what would happen if Kingfish was not there at that particular time? You might have also missed that opportunity to be on that Jack Daniels commercial. My God.
It'd be a game changer. I mean, come on.
It would be a
game
changer. And I think everybody, is certainly as someone who grew up in the Delta, is hoping that the future has a place for Delta State around what they do now, and of course music with the Grammy there is just such an important part.
Yeah.
And I do hope the future have them that they're there and survive.
You know, things change and stuff, and I've loved all our presidents we've had. This new president, Dr. Daniel Ennis, is a brilliant man. Mm-hmm. He's a faith-based man. When you sit and talk to him and all the calm, but yet passion, you see he's got a plan, and you can look in his eyes, and I really believe that he's going to really get us, Delta State, back to where it needs. It's a very important college down here. Obviously, athletically, we've stood out in the Division II for many, many, many years. There's a lot of great alumni like David Abney. The list goes on and on. Has gone off to become CEOs of huge companies like UPS.
Yeah.
Look what it did for me. It gave me a background. I started playing. My band started playing there. I was like on my second leg of my career because I kept wanting it from the age of 13, for real. And went to Nashville and all that. But when my band started there and the support I got from there, it started to blossom out. And I owe the Mississippi Delta. I owe Mississippi, period, for the inspiration. But that school is extremely important to our state and to our nation. And so we got some things to do, but he's the man for the job. So we support the Delta Music Institute. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars we've given, but we've a lot of scholarships for kids. I think one year we gave about 20. You know, and if it's $1,000 at a time for each one of them, it sure helps. That? And I love it when they send a thank you and they give you a hug and all that. It really lets you know it means a lot. You know, so that's the win for sure. And also the economy, how we're affecting it down here. I mean, that's the part I didn't understand. But all the hotel rooms getting filled up and all the venues we're paying and all the folks we're paying down here, it's a big help. So
it's big.
I got a great team, Paul.
It's
the team's insane.
We're speaking with also not only in that venue, the music and cultural ambassador of the state of Mississippi, Steve Azar. I got to ask, when's the last time you were in Nashville?
I did a show called Banded. Which was a show. I was a mentor with, like, Kip Winger was a mentor, and I was brought onto that thing. So it was then. And then I went back and played the Bluebird with James House, a good friend of mine, and another guy, one of the other buddies that wrote Tulsa Time and all that. So
beginning to think, Lance, that God is not a Maverick fan or something. It seems like every day for the last 2 weeks, something starts over in Dallas and heads this way, and just moving out of Dallas and just moving into the state of Mississippi is rain. And it looks like all the way from the north part of the state to Greenville, Mississippi, and all the way to the coast later on this afternoon. Actually, later on this morning. I believe Steve is back. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am, and I apologize. I don't know what happens in my home here. Things go sideways. But Nashville, I don't know where I stopped. The bottom line is I go a few times a year. It's full of cranes. It's becoming Atlanta. And I'm glad I'm in the Mississippi Delta.
That was it, because I'm thinking of old Yogi Berra saying, the Yogi once said it's too crowded, nobody goes there anymore. But man, I was watching a documentary on it, and it's just gotten to the point where unless they control that one way or the other, I do know drugs are up, crime is up, is just the byproduct of that. But, I mean, it's just the cranes are everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I know they had a big shooting one time years ago at a Waffle House that I'm pretty sure it was on White Bridge in Charlotte Pike, where I think it was that one. I could be mistaken, but somebody reached out to me. It was in national news, and I was on the move, but stopped and said a prayer for him. But Craig Hendrick and Aldo Greco, who were the punter and kickers for the Titans, and Larry Stewart, lead singer Restless Heart, and I used to spend Thursdays at Waffle House. And then when we didn't have any shows on the road or anything, Larry and I would go to practice with him and catch punts and hold field goals.
How about that?
And that Waffle House was where we spent a lot of time.
Jeez.
So anyway, you just didn't think about anything like that back then in Nashville. And I think as these cities get bigger and bigger, obviously you open yourself up to opportunities for, a mess. It makes me so grateful when I watch the news or the views or whatever channel you're watching, because I don't feel like there's a lot of news anymore. I feel like it's people's opinions, but I don't want to get on my soapbox, but I'm disappointed in the news for that reason. But with that said, you're just seeing a lot of cities that are going through a lot of trouble and a lot of things that make no sense at all. It seems like easy fixes. And at the same time, I go, thank God I'm in Mississippi. Yeah. I'm so grateful. These are the opportunities for us to stop and go, man, what a great place we live in, what great leadership we have, what head to toe. Our legislature looks like they work great together. As far as I'm concerned, I got friends on both sides of the political parties, a lot of really good friends who've been really good to me and supportive of what we're doing down here, and I just love our state. I
think it's been decades ago. I said we're going to get the last laugh in the state of Mississippi, and every single year it just seems like closer and closer to that. As far as family, flag, and faith, and those three building blocks. I was watching a documentary on the Bluebird Cafe, and it's interesting. I didn't realize it was that small. As a matter of fact, it closed down several years and just reopened not that long ago.
The former owner was on my show one time, the one that founded it and everything. She's great.
Yes.
But I tell you what, that place, it's when you get in there, you're very underwhelmed. You're like, you got to be kidding. But when these, at the right time, at the right moment, when the right artists get on there that wrote all these great songs, you go, okay, forget the size of it. This was monumental.
That makes it even more mysterious. Mystical.
Yeah, you get slapped on the wrist if you're breathing. You can't whisper. You got to be. You can clap between songs, but man, if you're caught talking, you're out. It's fantastic. I love it. It's so reverent, when it comes to that. And it's a small, very, very small place, and it's meant a lot to a lot of folks. I personally, I love it. And it's awesome, and I really enjoy doing it. But, man, there's nothing better than being on a stage for me when the lights are on and you can sweat a little bit and there's room for movement. Yeah. You're gelling with your band and having those moments with your band. That, to me, I think Marty Stewart and we've had that conversation, that's the best feeling when you're on a field, which is our stage, and we're getting to play with these guys that are great teammates for all these years. It's such a blessing to get to do it, and it always feels like the first time. It's a great feeling. Every night's different. Every night is different.
You got any new songs coming out? You got a new song coming out?
I got a lot of new songs.
Here's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to give you a plug here.
You know what? I've been working on Drew Pulliam's record, and he's 19 years old. We've been making it at the Delta Music Institute. He's got a really great shot at his career at it. So I've been focusing on his music, and we're almost through with his second album. And then,
wait a minute, what's his name?
Drew Pulliam. I found him in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and we made a first record, which was more about me making a record for him. Now this record is more about him making a record for him.
How do you spell his last name?
Pulliam, Pulliam. He's really good.
Okay.
So I got him playing basically every instrument on the entire album except the bass.
Wow.
It's insane. And we've been doing this at the Delta Music Institute while he was a freshman. And unfortunately, he's decided to move to Nashville. It's probably best for him because I think he's ready to fly. And so I'm really proud of him. And then I've got one new song that I just wrote that I'm not going to tell you yet, Paul. But it could be one of the best things I've ever done. And I'm excited about it. And I'm sitting here staring at it going like, well, what do I do? But I think I have a place for it. And I'll record it soon, and you'll be the first to hear it. How about that?
Appreciate that very, very much. What are we talking about? Christmas or fall?
It better be before that. I think I'm talking about in the next 6-7 weeks.
Okay, good.
And I'll tell you the title because you're going to love it. It's called I Was Killing It. And I was killing it, but it was killing me, is the thought. Right? So all these things in life.
Good hook. Yeah.
And
anyway, did you one more thing on Nashville? Have you gone into the new? What's the name of the Friends in Low Places? Garth Brooks, his new establishment over there.
I have not. There's a lot of those places opening up now downtown, and a lot of musicians that are struggling and trying to make it. They said some of those musicians that are struggling are making six figures on Broadway now. So not a bad way to struggle. It's a little different from our struggles back in the day when we were getting $14,000 for our publishing, just to try to survive back in 1990. So. Different times, but definitely that's good. It's a good thing for these guys.
You got that right. It's a whole new world. From book publishing to music publishing, it's just the digital world is different. Listen, if you really want to benchmark that statement, take a look at the Randy Travis song. I mean, come on. Randy Travis has got a brand new song. I'm not sure how it's doing on the charts. I haven't looked. Or even if it's released yet, I think it is. But Randy Travis has got an AI song because, as you well know, he can't sing. But, I mean, you can't tell the difference. I heard a copy of it.
That's the scary part. That's great
because
I love Randy. He's one of the most genuine, wonderful people. He was one of the guys when I was all into Springsteen, which I still am, and everything. And all of a sudden, my buddy Jimmy Lang, who lives in Meridian, I grew up with him down here, he comes in, he plays me Digging Up Bones by Randy Travis, and I promise you, it was every bit as moving to me as Springsteen. I was like, and it was a totally different genre. But when Willie and Randy and all these guys come along, Alabama, there's times when Stapleton, you come along, Garth, and they just change the playing field for people, and it's so authentic that everybody from all different genres can't help but love it. And that's the beauty. Yeah.
Here's what you need to do.
Paul. I'm freaking out about AI right now with all that.
I know. Here's what the next generation of people need to do. I'm not saying you because you're a good-looking guy. I wouldn't do this. But put on about 70 or 80 pounds, get some facial tattoos, and grow a beard.
Yeah. That's what happens.
Because, I mean, that is in right now. As far as with or without the tattoos, you get Jelly Roll, you get, there are 2 or 3 others, and their names slip in my mind now, but
Paul,
2 or 3 other ones.
It should be. It should be that way. You shouldn't matter about what you look like. It's about how you sound and how you're moving people with your words and your emotions and what kind of entertainer you are. People can't help how they're born and what they look like. I mean, you can work on things, and obviously you tack your face up. That's on you.
That's exactly why I said that, because it's good to know that the music is what counts on this thing when you hear some of the stuff being put out. Well, Chris Stapleton, people like that. It's just absolutely incredible. I enjoyed spending the time, sir, very, very much.
I love you,
it's
Paul.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, man. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Stephen Azar, host of Mississippi Minute, musician, music cultural ambassador.